क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति.
So if you follow verse 30, what happens? He says, Kshipram, very soon you become a dharmatma, you become a righteous person. What a fabulous way of putting it. And obtains eternal peace. Know for certain, O Kaunteya, son of Kunti, that my devotee will never be destroyed. So, Kshipram, soon. How does he say Kshipram, soon? Here we are struggling with one little negativity. Suppose you're short-tempered and you tend to get angry unnecessarily. You try controlling that and it takes a lifetime. If at all you are able to manage it, it takes a lifetime. How does he say Kshipram? Soon. You see, because you are utilizing a totally different equipment. So far you were operating on the mind, just likes and dislikes, whims and fancies. And the mind is inferior to the intellect in terms of power, in terms of strength. Now with the knowledge of Vedanta, now with the knowledge that you need to correct yourself, you're using a totally different equipment, the intellect. And suppose, for instance, you're 40 years old. 40 years of your life you have lived operating on the mind. Now if you use your intellect, you don't need another 40 years to correct all this. Just a few months is enough to get over your negativity. That's why he says Kshipram. Because all you need to do is focus on it and pursue it single-pointedly. Then he says you become a dharmatma, embodiment of righteousness. That was Yudhishthir. It was impossible that Yudhishthir would do anything wrong. Now, dharmatma does not mean a passively good person. You must understand the difference between the two. In the modern times, if at all there are any good people, they usually tend to be passive. Passive means they're following the mind, they're not using the intellect. And so when an evil person, and if wherever there are evil people, they tend to use their intellect. So they are experts at manipulating, maneuvering, they know exactly how to negotiate their way through the world, and they get the better of you. But they're selfish, they're negative. So that's why when you look around in the world, you find it's the corrupt, the evil. These guys are doing well, and the good people are being taken for one big ride. That's what you're seeing in the news all the time. Why is this so? This is not because evil is getting the better of good. It's because intellect is getting the better of the mind. So you must retain your goodness and develop your intellect, become a Krishna. Krishna was that. Nobody, even though there was unrighteousness rampant around him, nobody could get the better of him. That is why even a person like Duryodhana was subservient to Krishna, didn't cross swords with him. So all you have to do is develop inner strength, and the evil people around you will just leave you alone. They know whom to mess around with, they know whom to leave alone. So they'll catch enough goats around there are to catch. So that's what it is. Dharmatma means you become the embodiment of goodness, but you become a strong person and you can take care of anyone in the world. Shashvat shantim nigacchati. So once your direction is set, sooner or later you'll get there. It's a question of time. What is the direction that you've set now? Inward looking. Instead of looking outside in the world for happiness, you're now looking within yourself. And that is a huge shift. If genuinely from the bottom of your heart you've made this shift, my God, you've done all that you need to do. The rest is a matter of time. But, that conviction is not there. It's half-hearted, if at all. So somewhere lurking in your mind, there is the suspicion that there must be happiness in money. There must be some happiness in jewelry, otherwise why will everybody buy diamonds? there must be happiness in partying and this, that, and the other. The day you understand there is no happiness there, and the day you understand how to gain happiness, your whole life changes. This doesn't mean that you don't party anymore. This doesn't mean that you will give up your diamonds. This doesn't mean that you will give up anything in life. It's just a question of perception. So then he says, know for certain, O Kaunteya, that my devotee will never be destroyed. You know, in communication, you need to use different techniques to get the message across. One is an emphatic declaration that you make when you know the other person is weak, has a weak mind. Because that person needs a prop, needs confidence, needs to be built up, propped up. And that's what Krishna is doing here, because Arjuna is weak. He's been battered and he doesn't know how to handle himself. So Krishna is giving him this emphatic declaration that no, definitely, that my devotee doesn't mean Krishna devotee versus Rama devotee or Shiva devotee. It means a person who's seeking Atman, the spirit, the self, will never be destroyed. The second is an intellectual analysis that is perfect, foolproof. There you don't need to make an emphatic declaration. Once the intellect is convinced, is fine. That he uses elsewhere in the Gita. The third is quoting authorities. At several places in the Gita, Krishna quotes the Vedas and the Upanishads. And that appeases Arjuna's or all of us regard for tradition. And the last is sheer emotional appeal. Elsewhere in the Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna, I have reached this, I am a realized person, I have no desires for the world, I don't need anything from the world, and yet I am acting. So you also act for the benefit of society. And that works. So anyway, here he is making an emphatic declaration, and obviously it works. Next verse.